If you're trying to rent a house in Texas and there is anything in your background that you believe can make an approval more difficult, there is one fundamental decision I would make before you start paying application fee after application fee, and that is figure out who manages the house. You never think about it, but that is actually makes a huge difference because there's actually two different roads that you can take. Road one, property management company. Property management companies manage hundreds of homes at the same time with like two people, which out of which one of them is constantly sick. And that usually means that they operate under extreme pressure to use standardized approval criteria, not to spend too much time on a single case, okay? And if your situation doesn't fit neatly inside of that very narrow criteria, maybe you have an eviction, credit issue, whatever, getting somebody from the management company to actually look into your file can be very difficult. Sometimes they don't even want to evaluate your situation until you formally apply and pay the application fees and complete their entire screening process before they even manage to open your file and say, oh no, hell no, this doesn't work. Now, you're potentially spending money just to discover what their policy is and just to find out that they could never approve you in the first place. Why? And before authorizing a credit check, ask whether it will be a hard or soft inquiry, because half of the time they actually pull a hard inquiry on your file, which drops your credit score. So that was road one. Road two, individually managed homes. The other option is a home managed either by the owner or through like an individual real estate agent representing that owner. So what does that mean? Of course, they will run through different checks, etc., but they're not as streamlined and as strict as the property management company. They're often a better opportunity to have an actual conversation. Show them your file, print out your credit report, print out your eviction record, show it to them, send it to them before you pay any kind of fee and before they pull anything like your credit. You can say, hey, I know I have an issue in my background. This is what happened. This is why it happened. This is how I remedied it. And here is what situation looks like today. I'm a completely different person. Is there something that the owner could even consider? And if yes, then how would it look like? That conversation can go to them. They can discuss, they can review, and then they can say, no, we're not able to accommodate. Or they'll say, yeah, we might be able to accommodate if you meet XYZ criteria. So this can save you from applying for home that you can never even own or rent, realistically. So if you have a complicated rental history, don't just look at home and say, oh, I like the countertops in this one, or oh, I like the floor plan in this one. Shop the approval process. Do not shop the actual home. And before you apply, ask who manages the property, how strict or loose are the qualification criteria. Can somebody review my situation before I apply or before you guys pull my credit? And that will be the very first fork in the road for that family that is struggling to obtain approval. And I am very serious. Like, I've seen people spending up to $500 per trying to move on application fees alone and still not being able to qualify for a single home. So sad story, but it happened to one of my clients. Anyhow, that was all for today.